This is fourth and last part of the common checkmate patterns. If you have missed any parts, then I'm giving you the link to part 1, 2 and 3 in the comments, and you can watch them. This is actually very helpful for the beginners to know the checkmate patterns. So we proceed with last part. There are total 36 patterns, and from this part we'll cover from 28 to 36. Railroad mate looks like an unstoppable train of a rook and a queen moving along a rail track to checkmate the enemy king. Let's see an example. This is the position. White is to place rook to h5 check. Rook is supported by the queen. King goes to g6. Queen to f5 check. King goes to g7. Rook to h7 check. King to g8 and queen to f7 and checkmate. Let's see another example. This is the position white to play again. White plays queen to b1 check. King goes to d2. White plays rook to d3 check. Rook is supported by the queen. King goes to e2. Queen to d1 check. King to f2 and rook to f3 and checkmate. This is railroad mate. Reti's mate is named after a famous game between two chess legends, Richard Reti and Savely Tartakovsky. The pattern is based on the X-ray ability of a bishop or queen. Now this position is from Reti and Tartakovsky game. Now this was the last position, mate in one actually. You take the bishop to d8 and it is checkmate. This b6 is attacked, X-ray attacked by the bishop. So king cannot go to b6. Now similar example in another game. This is the position black is to play here. Just observe the position. Now what black plays is, he plays knight to e1 check. Now this knight can be taken by the knight, so knight cross e1 and bishop to d1 and checkmate. Now here also the b3 square is actually pawn is there, but otherwise also it is X-ray attacked by the bishop. So this was Reti's mate. Scholar's mate, also known as the 4-move checkmate, is a very common checkmate pattern among beginners. Let's see. It's from start you get a mate in 4 moves. e4, e5, queen to h6 is played by white, plays knight to c6, plays bishop to c4 and attacking this f7 pawn. But black wrongly plays knight to c6. He thinks he can attack the queen from here, but queen takes this pawn and this is checkmate. Now if you carefully play, you can avoid, of course, so I leave it to you. There are a lot of videos available on how to counter attack the scholar's mate. One more example where mate in 4 takes place is e4, e5, f4 white plays bishop to c5, f cross e5, queen to h4 and check. Now this is bishop and queen are both attacking this f2 square. King goes to e2 and queen cross e4, and it is checkmate. See, checkmate is there in 4 moves by black this time. So that is what scholar's mate is. The smoother mate is only possible if the enemy king is completely surrounded by his own pieces. This pattern also features the unique jumping ability of the knight. Let's see an example. Now here the black king is surrounded by his pieces, pawns and rook. Only if you take the knight to f7, then it is a checkmate. Check is there and king cannot move anywhere. Let's take another example from the actual game. This is the position. Now see what white plays. King first. Now knight to f7 and check. If the rook takes the knight, then of course queen will go to e8 and it will be checkmate. So that's not advisable. King goes to g8. Knight to h6 and it's a double check, so you cannot take the knight here. You have to move the king. So king again goes to h8. Now white plays queen to g8. Now there is no move then to capture this queen with the rook. So rook cross g8. And now knight to f7 and it's checkmate. This is how the smoothed mate is achieved. Suffocation mate is a checkmate pattern with a bishop and knight. The knight checks the king and the bishop suffocates him with the help of a few enemy pieces that further obstruct the king. Let's see first a simple example. This white bishop is controlling this diagonal a1 to h8. Now just to move the knight to e7 is checkmate. The black king is obstructed by the rook and 2 pawns. Just put the knight here and it is a checkmate. Let's see example from a game. This was the position white to play. Now what white played is queen cross f7. Now the queen is required to be captured obviously because king cannot move anywhere. So black captures with the queen. Queen cross d7 and the knight to d7 and it's checkmate. King is obstructed by pawn, queen, rook, and there is a check and king cannot move here to g8 because that is threatened by the bishop. So mate with the bishop and knight. The swallowtail mate. In this mating pattern, the king's retreating squares are blocked by its own pieces standing diagonally backward. The mating pattern resembles a swallow's tail. Simple example will be this. For the king, h7 and f7 are blocked by black's own pawns. Now just the queen goes here, queen g5 and it's checkmate. It resembles like swallow's tail. We'll have one more example. This is here black to play. So see, black plays what? Black plays rook to g3 and check. Now this is a double check. Check by the queen also, check by the rook also. so that the black rook cannot be captured with the pawns or the rooks. It has to be captured by the king. So king cross g3 and queen to g4, and it follows till checkmate. The triangle mate, also known as the fishtail mate, resembles the visual appearance of a triangle or a fishtail for that matter. The checkmate also demonstrates good coordination between a queen and rook. Let's see a simple example. This is a position. Just the queen goes to f5 and it is checkmate. The queen, rook, and they form a triangle with king as the center. Let's have a little complicated example from the actual game. See the position. White is to play. White plays rook cross g4. This move rook cross g4. Knight cross g4. Rook cross f7. Check. King goes to g8 and queen goes to h7 as a triangle mate. Bucking Bronco mate. In this checkmate, the enemy king is trapped in the corner of a board. The queen chokes it by controlling all of its escape squares, while the knight jumps in to deliver the checkmate. Now this is the position. Now queen is choking white to play. Queen is choking all the squares for the king. King cannot move. Now white just plays knight to f7 and it is checkmate. Next, from a game, I'll show you what actually played. Actually, you can avoid this mate here, but white plays rook cross e4. Black took the rook, d cross e4. So king cross g6 and check, supported by the knight. King goes to h8, only position available, and then knight to f7 and checkmate took place. This is bucking Bronco. Yukovic mate. The pattern demonstrates powerful coordination between the rook and knight with the help of supporting piece. Let's see some examples. This is the position. Now just to move the rook to f7 and it's a checkmate, because these two squares e8 and g8 are controlled by the knight, otherwise the rook, and rook is supported by the pawn. This is an example from actual game. Black is to play here. See what black plays. Knight to f3, check to white king. King goes to f1 and then rook goes to f2 and is checkmate. Again e1 and g1 are controlled by the knight, other squares by the rook, and rook is supported by the king. So here we finish our video series on checkmate, common checkmate patterns. There were 36 in all.